Hello everyone and welcome to another Minecraft Redstone tutorial. My name is Glitch. Today we're looking at making a concrete maker that also has a anti-jam warning light so that you can increase both the speed and efficiency of making concrete for your builds. And I brought you into my personal survival world to demonstrate how the build works. Now, one of the major things that can make concrete a bit of a pain to work with in Minecraft is the fact that when you first craft it, you get a concrete powder and not concrete. And to turn it into concrete, you have to place it in water. Now, especially on the Bedrock edition, where we do not have the ability to dual wield, I have seen Java edition players who will hold either the concrete in one hand and a pickaxe in the other, or vice versa. But in Bedrock, we don't have the ability to do that. So, especially in that version, if you want concrete without some kind of contraption, you have to place it down, go up to a tool, break, place, switch, break, which can honestly get a little bit old and tiresome. So with this device, what we do is we walk up to the edge of the block right here, and we have a water stream right here. So then when we place the block down, this piece of scaffolding will update, fire the observer, which will also fire the piston. Let's give it a look. Now also, normally with builds like this, you can do this where you have the concrete on ground level, and then you can turn and see and turn as it gets closer and closer to the other pistons, because as soon as it hits that observer down there, all this entire row of pistons will fire, moving the blocks forward. I personally like having it at eye level because then you can simply walk along and mine the concrete as you go. So, but that would involve place it down, look, place it down, look. So we have our light so that as soon as it gets down to the second to last block, the light flashes once, place one more, and everything gets pushed forward. And then we can go ahead and just repeat the process. Switch colors. And now it's all placed out. And then we can just simply come up here, walk along. And without having to turn, look down, we can just walk along and quickly and efficiently mine out our concrete. So that is the basics of how the device works. Let's go ahead and jump into a creative world so we can actually dive into the build. Now before we dive into the actual build, I just want to point out something about why we're using scaffolding instead of simply using observers. When an observer receives a block update and there is a piston directly next to it, you get yourself a redstone clock. And while these things have a lot of uses, they're not really good for this application. And to be honest, they are really, really loud. Let's go ahead and break that out to stop that. The difference is when you use scaffolding in front of an observer, the observer will detect the change of state in the scaffolding, because when you place a block on under the scaffolding, it changes very, very briefly into a block without this bottom texture. And that is enough for it not to detect. But oddly enough, let's go ahead and grab a lever. I'm going to put a lever right here. Activate that. You'll note that when we extend the piston head out, the scaffolding does not change, and therefore the observer does not detect any kind of a block update, and that's what keeps this from becoming just an endless redstone clock. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and look at our supplies. For this build, you're going to need the following items. 1 stack of structure blocks, 13 regular pistons, 3 observers, 1 redstone repeater, 1 redstone lamp, 6 scaffolding blocks, some redstone dust, a water bucket, and also you will need a pickaxe to mine the solidified concrete. And of course, you'll need your concrete powder. You will also need an area that is 16 blocks wide by 3 blocks deep. You can do it in an area that is less wide than 16 blocks. However, for the purpose of this tutorial, I am assuming that we're going to go for the maximum piston push power of 12 blocks. Now to start things off, we're going to build a basic U shape to contain our water. So let's go ahead and to come around this. And we're going to leave this block clear there for our water and one more there. Now the next thing we're going to do, place our piston on this block here. After that, up, and we're going to place our observer facing the wrong direction. We're going to place our observer with the face of the observer facing the same direction as the piston. Next up, we're going to take our scaffolding and we're going to place it on this block here, and then we're going to build out, which in the different versions of Minecraft, there's a little bit of a trick to it to get it without it simply adding in. So let's go and one more to cover the face of the observer. Next, we place a block on the back of the piston and redstone dust on that block. And that is the first circuit all wired up. Let's give it a quick test. We place the block down and it pushes it out of the way. I realized that I put that in the wrong place and add the block there. Because you want to end up with your water source being right there, and then it can flow down. Next up, we're going to lay in our piston line. The first thing we want to do is put structure blocks down for 12 out, starting with our water source. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Then take your pistons back out, and you simply want to lay them, put a piston down on each of the blocks. So and then we're going to simply come over to the other side and put one block on the back of each of the pistons. Up, we're going to take our observer, place it so that again its face is facing the same direction as the pistons, and we're going to lay redstone dust along the entire piston line. There we go. And then we need to take 2 blocks, place them up, and then just as we did before, we're going to go ahead and get back a little bit, place our scaffolding so that it covers the face of the piston. Of the observer. Alright, that is that piston line lined up, so let's go ahead and give it a quick test. And all of the pistons fire. Last, we're going to go ahead and put in our light. So what we want to do is we want to dig down 2 blocks under each of the pistons. So let's come out here and but we want to start with the second to last piston. So let's go ahead and dig down And yes, I already did this ahead of time. This one. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take out one more observer, and at the second to last piston, I'm going to place the observer with its face facing up, and then we're going to place a block right here and put redstone dust under that. And we'll just go ahead and place blocks in all along the rest of the front. Okay, and then we're going to place a structure block here in front of the first piston. Take your redstone lamp out, place it on that block, take your repeater, place it facing into that block, and then we simply need to take out our redstone dust and connect up the line. Now what this will do is when the concrete gets down to the second to last block, it's going to cause the observer to update, which will send a signal down to the repeater, which will hit the light. So do that, the light flashes once. And then just to keep things from falling in here and make it a little more difficult to collect the items, I think it's best to just close that off. But that is the entire build, all finished. All we need to do now is add our water source, and we are ready to make some concrete. Let's give it a quick test. Okay, switch to our concrete, walk up to the block, and without looking away, place down. And the light flashes. Everything comes forward. Oh, light flashes. And it all comes forward. And then once you get to the point of being either finished with the concrete you're doing, or you reach the piston limit of 12 blocks, you can simply walk along and break the blocks as you go. I tested this design out, and the best test I came out with was about a stack in just over a minute. So this will hopefully help you to increase both the speed and efficiency of your builds and using concrete. I hope you find this build useful. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like, and also consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. My name is Glitch, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.